Guys, thank you, Dom, Sydney, for coming on today. It's always a pleasure to connect with people that are genuine, that are accomplishing some fantastic things for the fitness community as a whole. And so it's my pleasure to introduce the Brick Built team. We have Dom and Sydney joining us today. So thank you guys for being here. We'll just get right into it. Dom and Sydney, can you guys speak on your background and kind of who you guys are?
My background is I've been involved in fitness since 2013. When I graduated college, I went to school and had an exercise science degree. Graduated and immediately started getting into personal training. To be honest, didn't really take it that serious. I thought it was more so just like a buffer job. I was coming off of football, so I thought I was supposed to be in NFL, but my purpose quickly shifted to fitness. And for several years, I was personal training, saw all likes of, different populations between sports, general pop, even some elderly, and kind of used the tools and the experiences that I learned from that to, like I said, accidentally, purposely draw up Brick Built Strength. It really wasn't something that I saw developing into a company, but I was fortunate enough to have people around me who were like-minded and allow me to develop this platform of influencing people through not only fitness, but like more of a mental state. So that's my background as far as being the owner and founder of Brick Built Strength. I'm extremely blessed to be able to influence people from all walks of life.
Very cool. And Sydney, as being an athlete and a client of Brick Built as well, what have you seen as far as the effectiveness of Brick Built in the last 2 years since you've been connected with the program?
Yeah, so I came to Brick Built Strength and to Dom as a ex-college athlete. And, I was dealing with a lot of chronic pain and chronic back pain. And coming to him, I had previously in my entire life had a coach, and I'd been under the influence and structure of a coaching environment, especially playing in college. And so when I kind of retired and I was training on my own, I was finding that I was in more pain than I used to be. And so I started CrossFit, and then I, reconnected with Dom about a year after CrossFit started. So this was in 2018. And really it was kind of that fall, he brought me onto the team and kind of made out my plan based off my goals and where I was at, and kind of met me there. And then we went back and built more of a solid foundation for my body and for, my set goals, and just kind of progressed from there. And each program and each phase that he's put me through has been different, but I can honestly say that I'm in the least amount of pain I've ever been in. And it's the best my body's felt even beyond playing in college. So he really takes his ability, and he really takes his knowledge and applies it in ways that I've never had before, which is really nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The unique approach, the catered approach, and curating a program specific to the individual. And I think that's
Exactly.
what is the separator for this space. We have the kind of novice coaches and trainers that maybe create the larger population of people that are trying to learn as many different methodologies as possible and to redisperse that out to as many people as possible. And then kind of as you go up the tier, you meet coaches, trainers, you learn about programs that are more specific to the individual. And so that must be a huge benefit for clients of the Brick Built Strength program. Can you tell us, what is the ethos or the core values of Brick Built Strength? Where does it come from?
So the partnership between our physical and mental aspects are achieved through our unique training styles. Because of this, we are able to give people the tools that we have and apply it to their existing foundation. I'm a firm believer in order to go forward, you must go backwards some for it. Especially when you start something new, you have to go backwards in order to reestablish, see the gaps that you missed so that you can build upon that foundation. It's very cliche. We always say it like brick by brick, but in order to, go up, you have to stack brick by brick. You can't miss anything. You can't miss any gaps. And sometimes this does take a little bit longer process. And that's something that we practice and preach at Brick Built, is building upon your own foundation, the tools that we give, so that whenever you do leave Brick Built, you are able to do so because of the foundation that you built. That's something that we've preached since day one here at Brick Built.
You have this quote on your website that just kind of just blew itself up at me. because I love it so much. And it says to fall in love with fitness and to fall in love with the process. So can you unpack that a little bit for us? Where did it come from? What is the thought behind that? And what does that mean to your clients?
So the biggest thing for me, what it meant and how I applied it to my clients was like, we realized like in all the mundane and all the work that we do and the goals that we've set for ourselves, there is the biggest gap between where you're at and where you want to go is a process. And if you can find a way to accept struggle, accept mundane work, accept setbacks, all those things, you can end up falling in love with that process and fall in love with becoming. And that allows you to fall in love with your fitness. And in my instance, my platform is fitness. So that's the thing that I'm falling in love with and the process that comes along with it, whether that's good, whether that's bad, all those things are something that I fall in love with. And it allows me to fall in love with my fitness and fall in love with the process. And I've given that same message to each and every client that I've gotten, because there is people who I come in contact with and their clientele is like, I want to do A, B, and C. And a lot of their goals are, like humanistic, they're materialistic, they're, look a certain way or hit a number. And there's nothing wrong with that. But knowing that there's a process with that is something that we have to accept. I think that's something that, that quote really touched me with, was like, fall in love with my fitness and then fall in love with the process that comes along with it.
Yeah, I love that backstory on that. And Sydney, what have you experienced as far as the specific process that Brick Built Strength lays out for its clients? How has that benefited you?
Yeah, I think it benefits me because we had to go way back and basically reestablish my neural connection between my muscles and why I had certain deficits and why I was compensating. And the cool thing is that he really goes into learning about like the physiology of why our bodies are doing what. I mean, obviously I take that and I go way down to the molecular level, and he keeps it at a macro level, and he reminds me of that all the time. But we really honestly, and Dom, you can attest to this, we went back and honestly had to train me single leg, and we did so much single side work because I was just not making connections. And we really went to the basics, and it frustrated me. And I really, at times I was like, I just want to be able to do my big lifts. I want to squat, I want to deadlift.
Right.
And he's like, you don't have the foundation. Like, you need to go backward. We'll still do that, and we'll still do what you want to do. I mean, he really incorporates what I ask for with what I need. So I get a lift that I ask for, but I also get accessory work that I need. So is that not true?
Yeah, very, very true.
No, it's a balanced approach.
Yes.
And I think it really does set up your clients and your athletes to have success in the process of health and wellness for a very, very long time. And it sounds like that's what you guys are in the business of doing, is to help people make those healthy connections with the process of how to go from A to Z, and to make sure that they're guided along that process the entire time. Another thing that stood out from your bio on your site is you talk about this family-like relationship that you value so much. And how does that trickle into the way you handle the responsibility of being a coach and a trainer to your clients?
I think like a lot of times when we, come in contact with people, the first thing we try to do is find common ground or to seek interest in them. And I think that a lot of people that I've come in contact with is the family approach. Like, they love feeling loved, they love feeling heard, they love feeling like their needs are being met. And most of the time when you get those things, it's from your family. So what I've done is try to make Brick Built more of a family approach and let people know that this is not just sets and reps. It goes much further than that. And I think that with the approach of feeling like I'm not just your trainer, but not obviously crossing lines, but let people know that I'm more than just your trainer. I've been in your shoes. I've been where I don't know where I'm going, or the identities in question, and kind of relaying that back to what we're doing and letting them know that, the struggle that you're applying with your weights, you can still take that same approach to life. So that's something I try to make it very welcome and very open with Brick Built, is let people know that you will be heard and your needs will be met to the best of my ability as well as yours. So.
Yeah, I love that, because it lets them know that they're not alone. They have support if they need it. And you're the person that's going to be right there when they need that person to get them back on track. And having that kind of family support, knowing that they're part of a team and a community that will also support them, I think goes a very long way. And I think that's something I value as being a trainer and with our company as well in the corporate health and wellness space. But it's really refreshing to see that you guys are implementing that as well. And it's sounds like it's such a core value for Brick Built Strength. It's really reassuring. So who do you guys currently work with? Who are the people that you guys help?
So our general balance has actually been a lot of CrossFitters, but that's just because of the hot new fad is everybody's doing CrossFit, which is not wrong. I don't blame that at all. But we have a lot of people in CrossFit, a lot of people who are, have a background in fitness, whether it's bodybuilding, sports, whether it's just people who are just, advocate about their fitness and they love being involved in their fitness. So we do target a lot of people who are in the fitness industry. We don't really have a lot of novice people, just because that's something that we don't feel comfortable training. And like I said, you can't service everybody. So we try to stick to what we're good at and do it greatly. So that's the target audience is, really in the fitness background, sports background, competitive sports background, is just trying to hone in on each individual and give them what we have, as opposed to trying to reach and pull from different directions. But that's really like our target audience is, fitness.
Yeah, no, that's great to know that you can't help everybody. We all know that. So to be able to target and to identify who that unique group of people is extremely important. Yeah, that's awesome. So this is a very challenging time for us with the current global pandemic that we're all experiencing. It's been 10 weeks. So what does the last 2 months look like for Brick Built Strength, its clients, your business, and what do you guys see happening in the next 2 months?
The first 4 to 6 weeks was definitely a lot of adjustments. And what I tried to do for calming not only my clients, but others who were under the voice of Brick Built's influence was giving away free programming. So we gave away 4 to 6 weeks of free programming, whether it was for minimalists, people who didn't have equipment, for the most part, to something that was going to create some resistance. We tried to give away free programming, let people know that you can still move, although everything around you isn't, and the one thing you can't control is yourself. So trying to find ways to pair the physical and mental aspects through movement, something that we did at Brick Built. And then after that, it started to pick up a little bit, and we made adjustments to everybody's plans and creating, whether it be different tempos, whether it be sets and reps, long durations, just getting creative while also staying with that simple yet effective mindset was something that we did. And we didn't try to, do some crazy stuff where you're lifting your couch up and all that other stuff. Nothing against that, but we wanted to keep it within our means, but still be creative with people, because the pandemic did take such a huge toll on people mentally. So we tried to pair our fitness and physical aspects with the mental stagnant component that was there.
Very cool.
And moving forward, I think we're just going to keep adjusting, making adjustments, staying in our meetings, and not letting the letting the potential for uncertainty paralyze us where we're at.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. And you guys touched on this earlier when we spoke, but what was so important for you guys to relate to your clients was that this is just a bump in the road. Don't worry. And Absolutely. If you feel frustrated, if you feel limited, that's just a situation, but we're going to work together in getting through this time. And Sydney, what were some of the challenges that you had to initially overcome with your training to stay focused on your goals, but to have the guidance through Brick Built Strength, how has that helped you?
Yeah, at first it kind of was difficult for me to let go of the fact that I'm not going to be able to do the next program, because I was actually up right at the time quarantine started to start a new 6 weeks, and we had thought out the whole program, and I was so excited. So it was really difficult to go from not training to training to not training. But for me, I'm in school, and he has been super accommodating to what I need and when I can do it. So for me, he did he would like write up workouts here and there, and I'm blessed to be around him more than his other clients. So he is able to make workouts up for me on the spot, but it's still all the brick built foundation. I mean, he still gives me my core. These are going to be your lifts, and then here's going to be your accessory work that you need to work on to move forward. So obviously I haven't been able to do my program, but he has still kept up with me and checking in with me as he is his other clients. But it's definitely been difficult. I have a much tighter schedule, but he's really accommodating, which is nice. I've done other programs where it's like, if you can't do X, Y, and Z on your list, well, I guess you're just going to have to like wait till you can get a gym to do it.
Yeah, that can be challenging, but to know that there's some slack and leniency with accommodating people's equipment, what they have available, their time, their schedules, must be a breath of fresh air for you, Sydney, and also for the clients of Brick Build Strength. You kind of glazed over this, Sydney, so I want to make sure we bring it up to the light. But you're in school, but specifically you're in your 3rd year of medical school, and that is no small feat. So I want to make sure we bring that up, and your schedule must be just so packed. So having that background and the knowledge of being in medical school, can you talk to the next 2 months of what normal life is going to look like, or how do we get back to this normality of a routine and our health and wellness?
Yeah, we're all learning, and especially as a medical student, we're going to be tested on this, and I've done my best to keep up with the research, and though it's preliminary and not everything has been peer reviewed, I've done my best to keep up with research, and it's really just going to take people getting over the fear of really kind of the outside world and what everyone else is doing. You can only control yourself. But for those of us, especially in the fitness industry, we know that it's of utmost importance to be at the very basic clean, and to make sure that we're taking the precautions moving forward. But I think that over the next few months, if people really take into consideration that this is still real and it's still serious, and you can move on with life. It's just going to be moving on with life, but being extra cautious about where your hands are, and just being clean. I think that it's going to be a smooth progression. It just may not be as quick as people like.
Yeah. And then Dom, where do you see the next 2 months going for Brick Built? What is it? What are your clients going to expect in the next couple months?
They're definitely going to expect me to continue to be as creative as I can without being stagnant, which is definitely, it's a task in itself. I definitely, I find excitement in not knowing exactly how I want to get the goal across, like the approach or the intent. So a lot of my clients are definitely, they get excited about their new plans that have come up. And a lot of people they were coming to the end of their cycle during the pandemic. So making the adjustment was, definitely exciting, as well as, like not stressful, but more of a worrisome. Like I was worried about it, but I also was excited to put myself in a position to get pressure. So looking forward, it's just making adjustments for people left and right, and making sure that they're still progressing. Right. It's definitely going to be a good challenge for me, because we've all been spoiled to where we have, equipment at our arm's reach. And now that we don't, we have to get, creative with tempos and bands and one dumbbell, two stuff like that. So that's why my content on my page has completely changed, and it's all minimalist, but it's still getting the same exact message across and the same exact intent across without sacrificing my principles and my methodologies. So that's been exciting, digging down and realizing that I don't need all this equipment to approach the same exact a message that I'm trying to relay. So moving forward, it's just no more complaining. It's just adjustments. That's probably my favorite quote of this whole entire thing is "Don't complain, adjust." Like this point blank and period. So that's what I'm doing with my training, as well as my mental state too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a quote or a way of thinking that all of us can apply.
Yeah,
it's like we have so much to be grateful for, and we do have an abundance. If there's one thing that this has taught us, we have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And when we're at home, right, like we're cleaning out our closets, we're cleaning the house, and we realize there are a lot of things that we have in our lives, and this time has really given us a pause and just to kind of think and to consider what's around us and what do we need versus what do we want. And I think that first and foremost, we need to make sure we're healthy. We need to make sure that we're continuing on that journey of health and wellness, and that we're following the right programs, that we have the right guidance and the coaching needed so that we can have the most with the least possible. And I think that makes us more robust and more resilient as people.
Yeah.
So lastly, Dom, I wanted to touch on, how do people find Brick Built Strength? Where can they get connected with you guys and your team?
Absolutely. Well, email at brickbuiltstrength.com, or sorry, brickbuiltstrength@gmail.com is the most like accessible way to get to me. Obviously, all my content is pumped out through Instagram as well as YouTube. I put all my videos up from YouTube. They're labeled, and you obviously can go and check out the Brick Built Strength YouTube. But as far as coming into contact with me, email is definitely the best. My website at brickbuiltstrength.com. You guys can send me a message on there. Sometimes I like to just chat with people. People send me messages. We just talk, going back and forth with different questions outside the box, asking me why do I do what I do, or just, simply just sharing some appreciation. All those things are all welcome. So definitely look me up at Brick Built Strength on Instagram is the easiest way to find me as far as the content we put out every single day.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, Dom, thank you so much. For anybody that's listening, Dom and his team, they are some of the most genuine people that I have in my network with fitness professionals. And I honestly mean that. I think Dom and we first spoke maybe 8 to 10 months ago. Yeah. I think it's been now. And I think just from our first conversation, it's been nothing but encouraging. We've given each other some things to think about too, considerably, with how the fitness space is currently. So if you guys need a resource of people that are genuine and looking to help a wide range of people, specifically with fitness related goals, that's the team to reach out to. So I just want to thank Dom and Sydney again for coming on and sharing their experience, who Brick Built Strength is, and what they're doing to better their communities. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you for
thank you so much.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. This is special.
Awesome. I will.
I love
We'll do this again soon.
Absolutely. Yeah.